Okay, hi everyone, welcome back, and in this update we are going to check out QNT's price chart and see what is going on specifically in the short term. But before we get into all that good stuff, we are at first going to talk about this, in my view at least, very important tweet from Gilbert Verdian, and in it he talks about artificial intelligence. So are you ready? Let's get into it. And first things first, I think we have to be honest with ourselves, because I don't really believe that AI is just going to be that one polite assistant reminding you that you need to, I don't know, maybe like update your password or something else. No, I think that phase is going to be done very much so. What we are seeing at the moment is actually artificial intelligence stepping up as a full cybersecurity expert, not a helper, not a co-pilot, actually a decision maker. For example, stuff like patching gaps, maybe weird user behavior, or even sketchy data flows, they need to be caught in real time and not just only flagged. No, you need something that understands the context and also is able to identify, for instance, whether something is a legit threat or maybe just someone working late from a new device. And that, in my view, is where AI can be very much helpful, because AI strength is in pulling data from everywhere and making sense of it really fast. It is able to connect the dots across systems, it is able to see patterns and highlight what actually matters, and no human team can match that speed or skill. Let's be honest with ourselves. Now, let's talk about blockchain. You see, AI and blockchain aren't just trendy buzzwords. No, they are absolutely able to solve some serious problems together. For instance, let's talk about data integrity. You see, AI needs clean, trustworthy data, and blockchain is absolutely able to provide that, because with the power of blockchain, you are able to see whether your data is clean or not, and also you have the power of traceability. Then there is transparency issue. You see, AI decisions often feel like a black box. Now, with the help of blockchain, every decision point can be logged immutably, and you want to know, for example, why the AI flagged something, it is right there on chain for you. Also, when it comes to a smart contract, okay, that is able to take it one step further. You can embed AI logic, so when a threat is detected, the system reacts almost instantly. For example, it is able to isolate a device, revoke access, whatever that is needed. No waiting around, hopefully no more scams. And finally, let's talk about decentralized intelligence, because instead of central AI model, with the help of blockchain, you are able to distribute models across networks. That means number one, resilience, number two, scalability, and more importantly, trustless collaboration across organizations. So, bottom line, artificial intelligence in cybersecurity is evolving fast. It is actually evolving like really fast. And when it is paired with blockchain, it's not just powerful, it is absolutely unstoppable. And now that we have talked about AI and blockchain teaming up, let's get into the real backbone of this whole setup, which in my view could be, focus on the word, could be QNT, because we don't really have any official announcements in here. You see, QUANT Overledger is not just another interoperability protocol. It is designed to connect blockchains, legacy systems, maybe some cloud platforms, you name it. And when it comes to artificial intelligence, that kind of connectivity is really the key. Here's the deal. AI needs access to data, not just from one system, but this is the key, pay attention, across silos, finance, for example, maybe healthcare, maybe supply chains, whatever that is necessary. And guess what? Overledger is absolutely able to make that possible with creating secure, compliant bridges between systems that normally do not really talk to each other that well. And this is not just about moving data around. No, this is about doing it with, pay attention, enterprise grade security. That, my friends, is why QNT is built for regulated environments. And let's be honest, you're not really going to roll out AI in a bank or maybe in a hospital, especially, without serious compliance already baked in. QNT, well, it actually checks all the right boxes. Now, let's talk token utility, because you see, QNT isn't just a governance token or some random coin floating around. No, it actually powers access to Overledger services. So If you got an AI-driven app that needs to pull data from multiple networks, QNT is what makes that happen. No QNT, no access. Then there's also finally a smart contract intelligence. Imagine, for example, AI enhanced contracts that can revoke access, flag anomalies, or maybe even trigger actions across chains. Overledger lets those contracts actually execute across different networks, and that is absolute next level automation. So as a final conclusion, QNT is not just part of the puzzle in my view. It is the glue, and it is what binds AI, blockchain, and enterprise cybersecurity into one intelligent, beautiful, scalable ecosystem. So when it comes to bigger picture, I think we can all agree that Gilbert's tweet isn't just a hot take. No, in my view, it's actually a roadmap, although in this tweet, it doesn't really talk about it, but I think it's actually a roadmap. He's been working on this convergence since 2009, and now with large language models becoming mainstream, the pieces are finally clicking. Number one, you got AI interpreting and acting. Number two, you got blockchain that is able to secure and verify. And number three, you have QNT token, which connects and also scales. This trio, in my opinion, does have the ability to completely change how enterprises defend themselves in a hyper-connected world. No more isolated systems, no more fragmented data, just simple, beautiful, seamless, secure, intelligent infrastructure. And if you are wondering whether QNT fits in the future of cybersecurity, AI, and enterprise tech, it's not just in the mix in my view. It actually has the power to be the absolute enabler. And that, my friends, is why I am so bullish on QNT. And I know, having said all that, you might say, well, okay, I don't really care about what is going to happen in the next couple of years. I'm just interested in the short-term price action and what is going to happen maybe in the next 6 months to about a year. And are we going to have an alt season or not? And that is all fantastic and great. I absolutely respect your opinion, but if you are in here for the long run, I think these are actually the type of things that you need to pay full attention to, because let's be honest, why are you buying a token? You care about number one, fundamentals, and number two, technicals. And if you want to pick the right project, you really have to do your due diligence and come up with your own conclusion. Okay, it's very important to understand that. I would actually even encourage you to not even listen to me. No, do your own research, come up with your own conclusion, and then if you thought that this is a great project and it does have a very much bright future, feel free to come back to these videos and see what is going on. And hopefully the information that I'm giving you is going to be helpful. And now with all that said, let's go on the live chart and see what is happening in the short term. Okay, here we are. And before we get into what is going on in like very short term, since the result might be a little bit disappointing for you, let me tell you, do not worry. Overall, in the midterm, meaning in the next, I would say probably 6 months to about a year, we are looking fantastic and bullish. Why? Because off of the lowest low, we are able to find a beautiful picture perfect 1 2 3 4 5, and I am really hoping this is going to be into a wave 1, followed by most likely an ABC flat into wave 2. And what's next after our correction is over? You know the answer, a strong move up into wave 3 and 4 and 5. And I do think that it is like very much possible for us to just in this phase actually into our wave 3 set an all-time high and take the highest high, which I think it was somewhere around like the $450 area. So overall, we are looking fantastic and bullish. But what is going on in the short term? Now, before we get into all that, let's talk about having either an ABC expanded flat or maybe a running flat, which looks like this. This is our initial move down into a correction for wave B, which and we're going to take this initial high and then another move down into our C leg. And this is the key, pay attention. In case that in this phase, we are not going to take the low of our wave A, this pattern is called a running flat. If you are going to take it on the other hand, well, okay, this is called an expanded flat. But nonetheless, sub waves are going to be very much similar, meaning ABC down into A, ABC or maybe a WXY up into wave B, and a 1 2 3 4 5 wave down into our C leg. Now let's go on the live chart and zoom in more, see what is going on. So in my view, if you do want to be like just a little bit flexible with the rules, you are able to argue this is ABC down into A, followed by an ABC up into wave B, and maybe from this high, we are having 5 down into 1, correction for wave 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into wave 3, correction for 4, and we can have, unfortunately in the short term, another move down into wave 5. This is why earlier I said the result in the short term might be a little bit disappointing, but please, 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 please do not miss the bigger picture, indicating this whole move is a correction, and after a very small move down, we are going to have what? A very, very strong bounce back in order to start, hopefully, the next major phase of the bull run. Now, let's go on some lower time frames, maybe on 15-minute chart, and see what is happening. And I think the last time that we talked about QNT, we were right in here, and the idea was that this is kind of a beautiful channel, which recently, unfortunately, we got a break of it, so we may very well have a pullback, but then please expect another move on the downside, and we are getting our move down. But from my POV, the move itself is not really that important. What really matters is this: in it, we actually took this important low down here. Why is this thing so important? This is the real question. First things first, let's hide everything. Okay, as you can see, instead of here, this point is actually the lowest low. And why did we say this is like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to about here and not here? Because you are allowed to consider, assuming that you are having the right subwaves, the possibility of having a truncated wave 5. But you might be in the group that believes, okay, this is the low of our correction structure in QNT, and from this point, I don't know, we are having like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave, and you want to actually ignore the shadows in here and argue, essentially, this is 1, this is 2, and what's next? A strong move up into wave 3 and 4 and 5. However, since recently we took the lows in here, now finding a 5 wave in this area is going to be extremely, extremely challenging, and we have to consider this scenario indicating our move down most likely is going to continue. And this is the key, pay attention. Seems like this is going to be the last phase down in QNT, and in terms of the subwaves, this can be considered 5 wave down into a 1, correction for wave 2, and what's next? Probably another move down into wave 3, correction for 4, and yet another move on the downside into wave 5, and hopefully that will be it, the low of our whole move down, starting from the highest high about $135. And then question, what is it that we want to see in order to talk bullish with more confidence? You probably know the answer in case that you are a regular viewer. A very strong bounce back, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 without a lot of overlapping of the waves. That could absolutely confirm that we are looking magnificent and bullish, and the 1-2 scenario on a higher degree is indeed in play. But for the short term, seems like that we want to have some more moves on the downside, and I can actually argue maybe this is going to be a wave 1, correction for wave 2, probably let's say to about this point, and what's next? Another small move down into wave 3 and 4 and 5 in order to complete the sub waves for this wave 3, and then correction for 4, another move on the downside into wave 5. For now, let's have this thing as our primary case, indicating probably in the next 2 weeks this move is going to continue just a little bit more, but hopefully that is going to be it, just a little bit more and not a whole lot more, in order to overall set new lows and take the lowest low. I think it was somewhere around like $75-80. From my POV, that actually at the moment, at least based on what we are seeing on the live chart, shouldn't really be anybody's primary case. And again, this makes me say, look, in quant, we are looking fantastic and bullish, and there is simply nothing to be worried about. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in QNT's chart. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member and ask me anything you want. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time with your family and loved ones. Goodbye.